I know 2025 was a disastrous year, but not in every way. And we found out, of course, the intentions of what I would call the American oligarchy and Project 2025. But there were good things that were on full display as well. Share a little bit of that with you. The power of the people, for example. Millions of people hit the streets on No King's Day, and we peacefully reminded that the nation can bring about change and send a message that we do not have to bow down to a wannabe king. And then in New York, an election with Zohan Mamdani, and also here in Seattle, Kate Wilson. They both were elected, and they challenged the status quo. They fought big money to win mayoral races. And in Miami, Eileen Higgins also flipped. There's a picture of her here. The mayoral office blue for the first time in actually 30 years. Here's an image of two women, Abigail Spanberger. She won the Virginia governorship, and Mickey Sherrill won New Jersey. Both put affordability crisis and skyrocketing utility costs at the forefront of their campaigns, and they won. And then in Pennsylvania, as well as Wisconsin, there was a pro-democracy majority that voted to support state Supreme Court in these states, despite what Elon Musk was trying to do and spending millions to hijack the Supreme Court in those states, and he failed at that. Democracy won out. Also in Colorado, this is real important, voters passed a ballot referendum that funds free meals for public school students, and it pays for it by closing tax loopholes for the wealthy. How about that? Look at the majority it shows there. And also in Wisconsin, citizens from actually Wisconsin, Arizona, and Indiana as well, they rose up to protest these AI data centers that are so costly in their community. Google, Amazon, Microsoft have had to delay or abandon their projects because ordinary people said no. Also, this is important, and this is really amazing. It's the first time ever. New Mexico became the first state to implement universal child care. And what that means is every family in New Mexico can access child care at absolutely no cost, free child care, with no income eligibility limits either, and no co-payments, and it starts November 1st, and it did start 2025. And that comes to a savings annually of roughly $12,000 per child annually. Also in California, bring up a little information about them. We can see what California did. Let's see here. They took a big step toward banning price fixing altogether. They were stopping corporations from being very sneaky about charging customers different prices for the very same products, ripping off the consumer. That happened in California. In New York, they banned pricing software that helps landlords collude to jack up rents. We always have heard about how high rents are and costs of living, costs of housing in New York. So that happened in New York as well. And then on the other side of the country in Oregon, here we have the nation strictest law was just enacted, which blocks private equity firms from owning medical clinics and practices. That's certainly a conflict of interest, one would think, which because of the enactment of that law will lower healthcare costs and will save lives. So good on you, Oregon, for doing that. And then really all across the country, and this is a nice map that gives you could maybe pause on this or enlarge it. There's been a wave of consumer protection laws passed all over the country, including Nevada, Massachusetts, Colorado, Connecticut, Virginia, that have taken steps to put an end to hidden junk fees, which allow corporations to hide the true cost of the price of goods they sell. And then finally, Starbucks. They unionized Starbucks workers, went on strike for a fair contract, and they succeeded, as well as thousands of other workers who will also continue to organize against corporate greed. Well, that's pretty amazing. That's all, it's not all of what happened in 2025, but it's very good news. What we should never forget is we outnumber the oligarchs and change is possible. But I wanted to leave the best for last. What you saw is proof positive. And here's what I would say the best for last is. In the 2025 election cycle, Democrats flipped. Let me bring up an image for that. You're going to find it here. Okay, this is not real clear. I'll bring up a better one. But this gives specifically the states that Democrats flipped that were formerly Republican-held legislative seats, and the Republicans gained 0. In fact, here's a better image for you to see that. The state by state, mostly Virginia, there were multiple House seats flipped from Republican to Democrat. New Jersey as well, Pennsylvania, several there, several in Mississippi. A deeply red state, Georgia as well, more of a blended blue-red state. Iowa, I imagine red Iowa flipped states, and Florida is very likely. So that's if you added them all together, it's a total of 25 Republican-held legislative seats that flipped to Democrats. So that's a net gain of 25 seats in just this year, Trump's first year. So you can imagine what 2026 is going to hold. Thank you for listening. And good news and Happy New Year.